Okay, I look most exceptionally bad right now, and like I promised, I'm going to read a couple things out of my Grimoire tradition, which is kind of a laying out of what it is paganism to do and don't believe. And I'm also going to read you what my coven calls the Way of the Witch. And right while I read it, I decided you can look at the candle. It's in this an amazing rock candle holder. It's got a hole in the top for a little tea light, and usually I hold it on this side on my altar to represent just earth and this rock, but I can also turn it around on Mabon because it's an autumn candle holder. Anyways, enough about that. I'm going to read to you out of my Grimoire. That's not it. My tradition page, and this looks long, but it has all my amendments of the belief in it, and I will read you the Way of the Witch. So, I'm sorry if it's boring just staring at a candle, but I look bad, so I thought just listening while you watch the candle might be a little better than staring at me. Here are laid out the beliefs of Grimoirs, which is my coven. By following the Great Spirit's path and becoming intimate with all the forces of both our seen and unseen world, witches hope to attain a higher spiritual enlightenment while possessing our physical forms. We seek to do no malevolent harm to any life force. We seek to teach ourselves how to become in tune with nature and the spirit, as our souls were in the days of old. By accepting others for their opinions and beliefs, we better strive for acceptance and to accept ourselves. We understand the world as a force and shifting energy within itself. The Great Spirit is seen in its three faces and ultimately one force, both known and mysterious, all wise, but not all-knowing. We do not hold to beliefs of predestination, baptisms, or a belief in heaven and hell. The Spirit is a wise guiding force, and not a controlling one. It is seen as female goddess, male god, and connecting ethereal spirit. It is understood that all religions come from one truth of a bygone time. The human by nature is not purely good or evil, but must seek for one's own self what is right. We understand that all living life contains an energetic spark of divine knowledge, witches seek to attain as much of this knowledge as they can. The spirit can be known, but never fully understood. Witches are not chosen or trained, they are witches by their own will. Witches seek to do no harm, attain knowledge, learn self-discipline, and teach younger witches to continue our sacred craft known as magic. We seek an acceptance in the world, but seek it by no unneeded violent ways. Witches understand that light does not always equal good, and dark is not always universally equivalent to evil. For life to be peaceful and fair, by universal law, both forces must hold a balance. By the threefold law, we seek to do what is good for the considered times and situation, and respect all aspects of our divine creations, such as the belief of Grimoirs laid down by the chronicler Inkweb. And one of the little notes that has been written down right beneath it is, to defend one's principles, you must be willing to live by them. And to me this is very important. This is basically saying that you can't call yourself a witch and, you know, publicly attain to be a witch, but yet in the background you're not willing to fight for that belief. I honestly believe that if you truly believe anything, you will be willing to fight for it. I'm going to read you some of the amendments. Not all of them really should be made public. They specifically deal with just my own coven. The amendments of belief are finer pinpoints of the moral system. They are never admitted, but may be added to. My coven thus far has thought of 25. All peoples should be allowed to seek for themselves the ultimate truth, which would offer further enlightenment to their soul in this physical life journey. All beings possess attributes of both God and Goddess. Their soul may feel a stronger bond to one more than another, despite whatever physical aspects their current life has given them. In such cases, a being should seek the enlightenment of spirit they deem as right for them, without judgment of others. Though others may judge, we must understand that prejudice is not a divine quality, but rather a secular crotch. It is wise for all beings to understand the reason and origins of judgment, and seek to not judge others in unreasonable, malicious, or hypocritical ways. No singular religion has power, right, or is able to offer enlightenment to all the physical world. There are many mysteries in our own world. We must seek to find acceptance with things we do not know, and not strive to give false explanations of the mysteries. We must understand that some things can only be known through a divine form. Pagans understand that men once knew the secrets of the divine, but have since irrevocably lost them. Through history, the divine has taken many forms. Pagans should allow beings to seek the divine and understand it in all its names and forms. No sex is more superior than the other. Beings should strive to see each other without prejudice. Pagans do not believe premarital sexual encounters hinder the purity of souls, nor do they hold one gender more accountable for a state of purity. However, we do hold that such relations are a power amongst themselves, and should be treated with respect and not made vulgar by wild promiscuities. Marriage is viewed as a sacred oath of love and spiritual understanding. Beings understand that they grow and change along life journeys, and understand that these changes can alter or sever ties of love between two souls. Thus, it is recommended that two beings who have been joined by hand fasting seek to part ways by hand parting, with no cruel feelings or ill intentions towards one another. Parents are not all controlling authorities over their children. They should see their offspring as empty vessels, which they, as parents, have taken on the task of filling with knowledge and morals of equality, self-discipline, love of the divine in all forms, and respect of its creations. Parents should offer their children the opportunity to seek for themselves their best life path of enlightenment. Humanity is not above nature, it is a part of nature. There are beings, myths or messengers, who reside in a realm not of our own. These beings can be communed with only under strict conditions. There is another realm, the realm of free spirits, where those who have no physical form reside between lives. There is also a grey realm, limbo, where lost souls dwell. Nothing is permanent. At the end of suffering, there comes peace and an opportunity to start again. Judgments should be made by one's own moral understanding. One is always accountable for the consequences of their judgments. Contacting those of the other realm is not forbidden, but must be only done with extreme caution and for good reason. None but those of the craft may see our mysteries. Each coven shall not know where another coven resides, or who its members are, except for the high priest and priestess. Those of a coven wishing to form a new coven to avoid strife must make their request to the elders, and on the instant void his place in the old coven, along with the sacred writings belonging to the old coven, and go in peace. If you would keep a book, let it be in your own hand. Ever remember yourself as the hidden children. If there be any disputes or quarrels among the brethren, the high priest and priestess shall straight convene the elders, and see the matter from each viewpoint, and shall decide justly with fair favor to both sides. Karma is not a system of reward and punishment, but rather as a law of the way of things function in nature. It is more important to live well in the present than to waste time worrying about what will occur in the future that cannot be controlled anyways. The natural world is a system made to function a certain way. We are a part of that system, but not the rulers of it. Every one function of the earth is important to all living creatures. Change is important to the process of a continued growth. Death is the greatest transformation. Basically, that's how we've written down for my coven the traditions and the amendments of belief. As I said, I'll find a pinpoints on that, and I think it pretty much covers a lot of the main issues you will find in life, and some of them are specifically for my coven, and others have been taken from the old laws. And in truth, you know, I think it's really good to have written, especially in your grimoire, your tradition, and, you know, the pinpoints on how you view life, such as death, marriage, children, all that. You know, it helps, especially if you ever become part of a coven, it really helps in dealing with a lot of the things that you're going to come across. Another few pinpoints, they're not part of my amendments of belief, and they're not part of my tradition, they're just little pinpoints that have been written down. All parts of the universe are sacred and have some form of intelligence. The living universe is able to communicate to all parts of itself. These parts choose to cooperate together, and this cooperation is called magic. I won't read that. Sorry, I was looking at a viewpoint that deals specifically with my people, and I would say it, but it's kind of personal to my coven. Since this video has run so long, I'm going to stop it and start another one, and it's going to be basically an explanation of the way of the witch, and I'll also explain the principles of paganism.